April 25th, 2017, the old Sabine Elementary School. The principal's office, where I got my spankings. And there would have been seats here in the early 80s when I went to school. So we go through, I believe this is the principal's office. And seems like this is most often where the spankings came. Workroom for teachers, I believe. And the teacher's lounge, just off of the office. Looks like it would have been mail room. Slot for everybody: custodians, teachers, cafeteria, counselors. And when I was in the 4th grade, we started having separate classes, not all in homeroom. And I believe this was Miss Williams' class. We had reading. And on the bookshelves, it would be filled with dictionaries, encyclopedias, various reading materials. But I remember in this classroom we would have dictionary word find races, and that would be a good time indeed. I don't recall having classes in this room. And this is the old auditorium, where, as you can see, it's been stripped of seating. I managed to find the stage and house lights. Looks like this was kind of a catch-all area. So we were told this morning that a lot of items had been torn out and removed for the asbestos abatement. And the school representative said that it was well over $100,000. Here's the old boys' restroom across from the library. Fancy. And I don't recall if this was part of the library or if the library was just back the other way. Don't recall having classes in that room. And the breezeway that I think originally was all open, but sometime early 80s was enclosed, because I want to say I remember it being open when I first started. That's the room I had kindergarten in, there. And when I started kindergarten, Miss Green was teaching kindergarten. She wasn't my teacher, but her classroom was back to back with ours. And this was the old school pickup line, and where the playground would have been. But you can see that equipment's been removed. Miss Green's classroom. And I think this was Miss Lofton's classroom, where I had kindergarten. And as I recall, this room was much bigger, but it is the room. Teacher's desk would have been up here, along with the chalkboard. Little bathroom there, that was there at the time. Blocks would be stored here. And then I believe this was part of the original kitchen, back here. But it was never open that I can recall as a kid. Now we're heading back towards the back of the auditorium, or backstage, where we would have had our choir and music lessons. And this was the little room where I had speech class. And library. I don't recall what these little rooms were for, but I'm fairly certain this was library, maybe. Or it could have been a little further down. The little enclosed area would look out from my fourth grade class, Miss Purcell, right across the way. Again, this is how we'd exit out, second, third, fourth grade to go to the playground. The gymnasium that was built around 81, 82 is down that way. But here is Miss Titus's room, where I had second grade. And that building was not there when I was in the second grade. It was built a little later. But I would sit right about here, and Miss Titus's desk would be there. In this hallway, I had 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. I think this was Miss Pursley's class where I had 4th grade. And the seats would be oriented about like this. Teacher's desk would be there at the chalkboard, which now appears to be corkboard or covered over. And this is where I would look out and think, wish, and dream that I was somewhere other than in the class. Looking at these old pecan trees that I suppose will be folded up when the building is here in a few months. Across the hall was my 3rd grade, Miss Ott, probably my most favorite teacher of all. And I think it was her first year teaching. Desk would have been there, and we would have sat here. And I want to say that we did not have these drop ceilings when I was here, that we had suspended lights instead of recessed lights. But again, I could be misremembering. Janitor's room. And then this is another new section, or comparatively new. I think it was probably built in '80. That's where I had 1st grade with Miss Bumgardner, I believe. And I am positive that this room was my 1st grade class. Should be a bathroom to the left. There it is. So this was brand new at the time when I went here. And again, all the carpet piled up and material stripped. I was told that was all had to do with the asbestos abatement process. And as we come back into the oldest part of the building, round around, various smaller workrooms.
And your favorite brother-in-law, Jason.
Got some help here today. This was the girls' restroom. We don't go in there. And water fountains. Boys' restroom. These are the display cases that when I was a student here were old football trophies and such. It's the spotlight staircase. And in the summer of the 4th grade, I played Friar Tuck and Robin Hood on the stage. I think a couple others as well.
Hey, look at the staircase.
And that's it.